What's up, lads and ladettes? How are we all doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastically well. So, in today's video, I'm going to be kind of showing you guys something that I've been doing just on my own recently. It kind of developed from a conversation that I had with, I think it was Disciple. I think it was Alion that I was talking to. But anyway, I was kind of just having a conversation with one of you guys in game, and it kind of gave me a little bit of an idea. So I did a little bit of research, and I was looking at different numbers and different stuff, and I kind of came up with an idea, came up with a concept that I'm fairly certain is not new at all, but it's something that I don't really tend to see. Okay, it's not something that I tend to see, and I'm not entirely sure why. Now that I think about it, I'm not 100% sure why I don't see it more often, especially amongst sort of newer players and free-to-play players and all that sort of stuff. I'm not entirely sure why I don't see it more often. So, before I delve into the sort of the reasoning behind the idea, I'll just show you what I've been doing recently. And it's pretty simple, really. I have a macro set up for my VSE Mark 1, and I want to level up my knife skills, so I've just got a TT knife. And what I've been doing is I've been coming up to the Quarterturg Punies, or anything that I can run away from. I'm using the Punies as sort of like these guys as sort of a demonstration that newer players will be able to do this. I'm not sure if newer players can run away from the Quarterturgs like I can. Maybe someone in the in the comment section, maybe Alion, because he's done this more often, can talk about this, whether or not people will be able to. But so essentially, what I do is after I get one successful drain of sweat, I just kill them. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing, and I've been getting kind of a consistent, I'll say about 500 bottles of sweat for every 10 PED I spend. Roughly. Thereabouts. And one of the things that I've noticed is there are going to be times where I, have to take these guys for a little bit of a walk in order to get, one draw of sweat. Right? So there's a draw of sweat. And look, it's going off again. And this is another thing that I do. If after I get the first drain of sweat, it says that, hey, we're going to do it again, then I just let it go until I don't get a successful pull of sweat. So my method, my method of this is I will get one successful pull of sweat, and if I don't get another draw, if I don't get another start of a draw, then I kill the mob, right? But if I get another draw of sweat, I just keep doing it until I either completely sweat the thing dry, which does happen. There are times where I just get, it's one after the other. I'll get a chance to draw sweat one after another, and sometimes it's instant like that, which is really cool. And no more, so now I kill it. Okay, so now I kill it. So every so often I will get lots of sweat really quickly. Other times, there are some times, and it's actually quite not common, which I find quite interesting. I don't know if there's some interesting mechanic where every time you start doing something on a new mob, your chance to draw sweat changes, or if there is just a set chance to draw sweat, because there are it's so random. Right, it's so random. So, anymore? Nope. So now I switch across, and I kill them. And that's essentially all I've been doing. And like I said, I've been getting consistent about 500 bottles of sweat for every 10 PED that I spend. Sometimes more. Especially if I get a lot of sort of consistent draws of sweat, right? If I get a lot of consistent draws of sweat, then it's, I tend to get a lot more. And, you're going to see, down here I got 4 bottles of sweat from this guy just then. and previously I got 2, and it really does vary, but it does seem to average out. And that's essentially what I've been doing. And you might be thinking, okay, Scott, why not just, sweat the thing completely dry? And that is something that you could do, obviously. But one thing that I've found is there's going to be moments like this, right? Where it takes a little bit to draw the sweat. And there are times where it takes ages, and I mean ages, to sweat a mob, like even a small mob, dry. And for me, it's not just getting the PED, right? It's not just getting the sweat so I can, make a little PED and offset costs and all that sort of stuff. There's also the skills to think about. I also want to, level up my various professions, right? I want to level up my various stuff. So for me, I wanted to try to find that nice midpoint between sweat gathering and killing things. That's what I was looking for. And like I said, I'm fairly certain this is not a new concept. It's pretty damn straightforward. But one thing that I notice in the game is that people are very an all or nothing mentality, right? And here's another thing that I'll do. If I don't get any aggro, then I'll just keep holding down the thing until they come at me. And sometimes I'm able to drain them completely dry, and they don't even aggro on me, which is it's quite funny, when that happens. But yeah, so I see there's a lot of people that are kind of all or nothing sort of mentality. So it's like, okay, if you're going to be swanting, you have to sweat the creature completely dry. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Or, what's the point in swanting? Just go to a sweat circle and just sweat out mobs there. And then you have the people that are like, nope, sweating is stupid, there's no point in sweating. So just hunt and get your mark up and then make your profit that way. And all that sort of stuff. But when I was doing the research, right, one of the things that MindArcus said, and now, keep in mind, the numbers that I'm going to give are from MindArc, and I did a little bit of calculation, and it's not... I don't think it's going to be true for the majority of people. It's going to be true for people that have really, really good DPP. That's damage per pack. Really, really good damage per pack. They're getting really good crits. They're doing high damage crits, so they've got, maybe they've got good rings on. They've got, really good weapons that have high damage per pack. Maybe some, some of those 80 to... 90 whatever % efficiency things, and going from that. So what MindArc has said is that per 5,000 PED spent, you'll get about 96% back on average. So 5,000 PED spent, they say on average a hunter will get about 96% back, and I'm fairly certain they're averaging that. They're not just they're not getting a median. I think they're getting people that were in the 80 percentile, people that were in the 110 percentile, people that got lucky, people that didn't get so lucky, and then averaging it out. So when they average it out, it came to 96%. We'll just go 95% for argument's sake. Well, they also said that 5,000 PED is approximately 200,000 punies. Okay, so they said that it's approximately 200,000 punies. Now, I did do the math, and according to, from what I saw, you would have to be killing mobs for about, puny mobs for about 2.5 PEC per kill, which I think you'll only really be able to achieve either with extreme luck, getting lots of good crits and all that sort of stuff, or the more logical option, having good quality gear. So, let's reduce that down to 100,000, right? So around about 5 PEC for punies, which I think is probably a better average. But, you know, I might be wrong. I don't know. But let's take that 100,000, right? So if we were to take that 100,000 and we were to draw, like, get one successful draw from every single mob, right? Just one successful draw. That's not including, like, getting extra draws. That's just one single draw. Then across that 100,000 mobs, it's going to be a minimum of 100,000 bottles of sweat. A potential maximum of 400,000 bottles of sweat. Now, I highly doubt it will be 400,000 bottles of sweat because, you know, you're not going to get lucky enough to get 4 bottles of sweat with every single draw. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of average that out. We're going to get into the midpoint, which is about 250,000 bottles of sweat. So 250,000 bottles of sweat. I know that I can sell, the way that I do things, I can sell my sweat and get around about 1.3 PED per K. So if we were to sort of grab that, then we'll have, let's see, 2.6, and then it would be an extra, 75. So I would be seeing around about 300 and... what would that be? 325 PED for the 250,000 bottles of sweat. So if we think about that, right? 350 PED is more than 5% of 5,000 PED. The 5% being 250 PED. So, in my mind, I'm leaving, like, at least 350 PED on the table for every 5,000 PED that I spend. And you might think, well, like, how often are you going to be spending 5,000 PED? It's actually really easy to do. You know, like, time gets away from you, you're killing stuff pretty quickly, and, you know, like, it all adds up. Right? It all adds up. 5,000 PED is me burning through this foul cutter, what is that, like 500 times, something like that? I could probably do that in about a month. I could probably do that in about a month. But let's say, you know, let's say 2 months, right? I'll be leaving a decent chunk of PED on the table, which I could be getting for hardly any work at all. And I still get to, kill mobs at a relatively frequent rate. Relatively frequent rate. God, that's a bit of a tongue twister. So I'm still able to kill mobs at a rate that I feel happy with, right? Especially for punies, right? Because you think about it, maybe 20 seconds to get a successful draw on average. Sometimes, if I'm able to get it instantly, it's like 5 seconds. And then I kill the mob, so it's a lot quicker than mobs that take 1 PED to kill. And I'm not going to be sweating them dry, and I'm not even going to be really drawing much sweat from them at all. So for me, doing this with punies it seems like a no-brainer. And that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you guys. I know I've been kind of absent recently. For those of you that do know, I spoke about it in the previous video, I think. I'm on new medication, and they've sorted out so many issues. Not just the pain that I was having, which I'm now fairly certain is fibromyalgia, because the medication that I got put on, which is antidepressants that I apparently should have been on for the last year and a half. Yeah, always double check with your doctor. Don't take the word of someone else, because sometimes they might be lying or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so these antidepressants have not only fixed the pains that I was getting, but they've gotten rid of chronic depression that I've had since I was before I was in high school. This was like, you know, primary school sort of age, you know, like 10, 11, something like that. Maybe even younger. And because I've had it kind of all my life, or a massive chunk of my life, I just thought it was my norm. You know, that's just how I am. You know, I'm a recluse. I don't like doing things. I'm always, you know, upset about things. And, you know, I always thought it was just because I wore my heart on my sleeve, as my dad, you know, liked to put it back in the day. And I thought it was literally just that, right? I literally thought it was just that. And when I was going through my, you know, what I considered my bad times, I thought that was sort of standard depression. Oh, Lord, no. Apparently what I've been experiencing most of my life was depression, and then I guess everything else was just the Delta Plus version, like the Delta Plus membership of depression, which is, you know, not fun. But I've also had, like, you guys know I have Tourette syndrome. The medication not only sorted out the depression and the pain, but according to my family, I'm not ticking as much as I used to tick. My sleeping is better. I'm not drinking alcohol anymore. Like, I was drinking a lot of alcohol, but now I don't even want to touch this stuff, and it's been pretty much ever since I started taking the medication, about a week in, is when I completely lost any wanting to drink. I had this weird perception of time as well, like, to the point where I could go months without seeing someone, and then they can come up to me and go, "Man, I haven't seen you in months. Where have you been?" I'm like, "I saw you like a week ago." And they're like, "No, I saw you in, you know, I saw you in May. You know, we're in September." And I'm like, "Oh, shit." So it was hindering a lot of relationships with people, which really sucked, right? It really, really sucked. Like, I would go a long time without seeing my sisters or talking to my sisters. I would go a long time without doing anything with my children or my wife, just because to me it's like, oh, you know, we hung out the other day. No, no, it wasn't. And it's and same thing with, like, doing everyday stuff like yard work and housework, and, you know, because it felt like, oh, I just did it the other day. It's like, no, you mowed the lawn like 2 months ago, you know, and it was bad. But this medication that I'm on has sorted out all those problems, and, like, literally so much has been fixed thanks to this one specific tiny little capsule. It's fucking nuts, right? It's absolutely bonkers. And because of that, one of the things that I realized is I don't want to make videos every day. You know, I don't want to be on that grind. Because, like, for me, I kind of want to focus on, like, more, you know, sustainable, grounded forms of earning an income. And for a while, my brain was just focused on making an income, and because I thought that I wouldn't be able to get a job because I was essentially putting myself down mentally and physically, not taking care of myself. Because of all those things, I thought that I just couldn't do it, no one liked me, blah, 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 so I just wouldn't do anything. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have clicked off now, but for those of you that have stuck around to listen to this, thanks. But, so I felt I was really, really, really run down on myself. But now I've got potential. I say potential. I have 2 weeks of paid work experience at the start of January, and then hopefully that should lead into an actual career. Should do, but if not, that's, you know, neither here nor there. But I'm going to be working on building up my resume by either working or doing volunteer work, so at least there's something in my resume, because, you know, that's kind of what's been letting me down, is the gap in my resume. So I've been more focused on work and housework and yard work and hanging out with my family and living, you know, like depression and whatever was happening to me has literally ruined a lot of opportunities. Like, genuinely ruined a lot, and I mean a lot of opportunities. Like, that's not even, you know, me being hyperbolic. That literally a bunch of shit that I just never did or never tried to do because of whatever the fuck was wrong with me. But now that all that is, you know, no longer a thing, I no longer feel obligated to record stuff, right? I don't feel obligated that I have to put out a video every day, otherwise that one person will be disappointed, and then all of a sudden I've, like, done something irreparably horrible to someone else. No, it's more of a, you know, I don't want to. You're gonna have to find your entertainment somewhere else. You know, that's kind of the way that my brain is working now. But with videos like this, where you know, I had an idea and a thought that I wanted to share, you know, that's completely fine. And I wanted to upload this video because, well, you know, a lot of you guys that listen to me are either in my society, or, you know, you guys are new players or returning players, or, you know, just big fans of Entropia, as am I. And whenever things like this happen, like, you know, I get an idea that might help out in the long run, I like to share that kind of stuff, you know? And luckily, due to the style of this sort of gameplay, I don't think it's gonna, like, oversaturate the market, because I know there's only gonna be a small amount of people that will look at what I'm doing and go, yeah, that actually seems like a good idea, and will actually do it. You know, so I don't think it's gonna be, you know, everybody's gonna start doing what I'm doing now, because, you know, it's just not the way the game works. Well, it is the way the game works, but it's not the way people work. You know, people like to do one thing or another. But anyway, I've kind of rambled on enough. I just wanted to... I guess this video is killing two birds with one stone. Sort of, you know, explaining the new thing that I've been doing, but also talking about my own stuff, my own problems that have now been solved. And, you know, I just wanted to put this out there. Like, if any of you guys are going through, like, mental stuff, like, or, you know, you think you have something wrong with you, but you don't want to go to the doctor because you don't want to be a bother. Because, trust me, that was one of my problems. You know, I didn't want to go to a doctor and waste the doctor's time. I literally thought me going to a doctor to try to see what's wrong with me was a waste of time. I thought I was a waste of time. And, like, other people could think I'm a waste of time, but when I think that I'm a waste of time, you know there's something wrong. When you think that you're a waste of time, you know there's something fucking wrong. So, if I can give one piece of advice, if you think there's something wrong, if you think, hey, I'm always feeling down, or hey, I think there's something wrong with me, I'm not, you know, and don't just brush it off as a, oh, I'm just quirky, I'm just different. Because different's fine. Different is good. Everyone's different. But no one should be chronically sad for no reason. No one should be hating themselves chronically for no reason. No one should be preferring to isolate themselves, not just because they prefer the comfort of their own home, or the comfort of their games, or, you know, that they're not very extroverted, because you can be introverted and still communicate with people, you know? Like, that could still happen. That still happens. You know? It just means you're a little bit more timid and you're not as outgoing as someone else, and that's just a personality trait. But chronic sadness and depression and self-loathing, they're not personality traits. Those are things that you shouldn't be feeling. You should be enjoying life. You know, and obviously there's going to be real world reasons why people have this stuff, whether it's a situation or a mental illness, in my case. You know, having, obviously, chemical imbalances in my brain. And obviously I already knew I had that because of my Tourette syndrome, but I never connected the dots thinking that, hey, maybe this chemical imbalance in my brain is causing this. And surprise, surprise, a medication that fixes chemical imbalances in your brain not only fixed my Tourette, like sorted out my Tourette syndrome, but also sorted out my chronic anxiety and depression and self-hatred and weird perception of time. Who would have fucking thought? So, if you do feel that, you know, there's something wrong, there's nothing wrong with going to a doctor. You know, unless it's going to cost you like thousands of dollars to talk to a doctor, then yeah, I can't really help there. But, you know, if that's if this is the only thing you take away from this video, take care of yourselves. You got to take care of number one before you can take care of others. Something that I've learned. But anyway, I'm going to be leaving it there. I won't be talking about this in the future, because I don't want a lot of my videos to just devolve into talking about mental illness and issues. But I think this was something that I just needed to say, that I needed to put out there into the world. Because if I don't talk about it, then, as I said to someone today, if people don't talk about it, we can't move forward as a species. We can't move forward as a species or a civilization if we keep quiet about issues that affect everyday people. You know? It's just things that we need to talk about. Anyway, I'm leaving it there. In the future, I'm going to be just talking about Entropia and whatever other games I'm playing at the time. I will be continuing and finishing the Resident Evil 2 stuff. I just haven't had time at the moment because I've been busy. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. You all stay safe, take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.